welcome guys, it's Justin, and today, if your voice is not good, then just watch this. But before that, please subscribe for my video for free cookie. Now let's zoom into it.
Looniverse, Stranger Things. Chapter 1, A Silver Surprise. I was walking home from school on a Friday afternoon when I stumbled across the coin. And I don't mean stumbled. Right after I crossed Rich Street, I tripped on the curb and fell. Luckily, I landed on a soft strip of glass. A silvery circle flashed and glittered beneath my nose. I started down at a large coin. As soon as I touched it, the strangest thing happened. The moon rose like a hard-smacked high-fly ball. It set just as quickly dropping out of a bright blue sky. "No way," I said. "Maybe I'd fallen." Harder than I thought. The coin felt icy cold even though the air was warm. The same two words were on each side of it. Strange, stranger. This sure wasn't the sort of coin anyone would ever give to me. I'm as far from strange as possible. Everyone else has talents, hobby, or adventures worth talking about, not me. I'm just a plain old normal Ed, a third grader at complex elementary school. I started to get up, but then froze. A man was shuffling around the sidewalk in the oddest way. After every couple steps, he dropped to his knees, moving his head like a hunting dog and running his hands through the glass. Step, drop, search, stand. Step, drop, search, stand. It was almost like a dance. When the man got closer, I recognized him. It was Mr. Sage, the owner of the new curiosity shop. My mom goes there when she needs a present for someone who has everything. I thought curiosity meant you wanted to know something, but Mom said that a curiosity can also be an interesting object. The shop sure has plenty of those. When Mr. Sage reached me, he dropped it to his knees and ran one hand through the glass right next to my face. His sleeve smelled like old books. I wrapped my fingers around the coin. "Did you roll something?" I asked. "No, I'm trying to find something," he said. He didn't seem surprised that I was right there. "What are you trying to find?" I asked, hoping it wasn't a coin. He rapped. "I won't know until I find it." "Good luck." I realized I'd been squeezing the coin real hard. "Thank you." He stood and walked past me, then continued his weird step, drop, search, stand routine. Maybe being normal isn't so bad, I thought as I got up. I headed down the block to meet my little brother, Darwin. He goes to kindergarten at Albert Camus Primary School. He was just coming out the door when I got there. When Darwin spotted me, he jumped like he'd been startled. "Amazing! What a great idea!" he shouted. Then he raced right past me like he was riding a rocket. I stuck the coin in my pocket and headed home. What was Darwin so excited about, I wondered. Chapter 2. A number of words. I found Darwin in the living room, working hard at something. I could tell that he was working hard, because his mouth was open and his tongue was hanging out. It made his face look sort of like an untied shoe. "What are you writing?" I asked him. "Words," he said. Not looking up, he barely seemed to notice I was there. I glanced at the papers spread out around him. They were filled with rows of words. That's a lot of words, I said. It has to be, Darwin said. He stopped it to sharpen his pencil. I read one of the pages. Vacation, marigold, ticket, earth, engine, twinkle, mushroom, school, sunshine, candy. I waited for Darwin to explain what he was doing, but he just kept writing. I went to the kitchen table and did my homework. After that, I fed my pets. By then, it was almost dinner time. When I came back into the living room, Darwin was still working. 998, he said as he wrote. 999, 1000. He gathered up all the papers and dashed out the door. Okay, this was getting stranger. I couldn't resist following him anymore than I could resist a chocolate fudge brownie. Darwin raced down the street and around the corner. He ran up to a small yellow house and knocked on the door. I stayed nearby waiting to see what would happen next. A tall, thin man stepped onto the porch. Darwin handed him the paper. The man studied each sheet. Then he held up his index finger and said, "Very good, wait here." The man went inside. A moment later, he returned and gave something to Darwin. "Thank you," Darwin said. He stepped off the porch and headed toward me. The curiosity was killing me. "What is it?" I asked when Darwin reached the sidewalk. "A picture," he said. He had a fabulous painting of a dragon. "It's wonderful, but why did he give it to you?" I asked. "I gave him 1,000 words," Darwin said. "Last week you told me a picture is worth 1,000 words when you're explaining the difference between African and Asian elephants. Remember?" I remember telling him that when I'd found the photos online until now thought I'd assumed it was just a saying. It looked like Darwin had made it become real. I'd love to get my own amazing picture. I thought about bringing 1,000 words to the man in the yellow house, but I knew it would be a waste of time. I wouldn't get a picture, or if I did, it would be a picture of a mud puddle, a broken egg, or something else I didn't want. That's just how things seemed to work for me. Sure, I'd find a coin, but it wasn't all special. Darwin walked off, humming. I watched him go. He'd always been strange, but he'd never done anything this strange. Then, at dinner, things got a whole lot stranger. Chapter 3, Meals on Wheels. My older sister Sarah Beth loves art. She always is drawing, painting, and sculpting. He even makes things out of food. Last week, at dinner, she built a model of Eiffel Tower using carrot sticks. Our parents don't stop her because they like to encourage creativity. Sarah Beth creates her biggest project on the holidays, when there's lots of food on the table. Tonight wasn't a holiday, but we had tons of food. We are having what my parents called practice giving dinner. They get so worried that everything would be perfect on Thanksgiving. When all the relatives come here, that they make practice dinners in September and October. That's strange, but fine with me. I love turkey and gravy. Besides, parents are supposed to be strange. Even though there was room at the big table, Sarah Beth, Doreen, my little sister Ruby, and I sat at the kids' table. That's part of the practice. As soon as we took our seats, Sarah Beth grabbed some slices of cranberry sauce and leaned them against a stick of turkey. She tied the whole thing up with string beans. "What are you making?" I asked as I helped myself to mashed potatoes and a drumstick. "Yes," she said, giving me a big grin. "Is it a truck?" I asked. "Nope, it's not a truck." Sarah stuck an olive on the turkey part near the front. Then she balanced another olive on the top of it. I glanced at my parents. They were so used to Sarah's making things that they didn't seem to notice what she was doing. Doreen and Ruby weren't paying attention to her either. My dog Rex and my cat Willow paid attention, hoping something tasty would fall to the floor. Is it a bus? I guessed as I groaned. My potatoes in gravy. You're getting warm, she said. She grabbed the pitcher from me and poured gravy into the tower of olives. I took another guess. A subway car? You're warmer, she said. Guess again. I watched the steam from the gravy rise of the olives. A train, I said, suddenly realizing that the olives were a smokestack. Yup, Sarah said. It's a choo-choo train, she choked. The train rolled off her plane. Whoo! I gasped as it chugged across the table right toward me. Chapter 4, Dangerous Stories. I sat there too amazed to move as the train pushed my plate onto my lap. Wow, I guess it turned out to be a steam train, Sarah Beth said. No kidding, I said as the steaming hot gravy dripped on my shoes, and my drumstick rolled off the plate. She really meant it when she said I was getting warmer. Rex grabbed the drumstick and ran off. Willow batted a string bean across the floor. Ed, stop playing with your food, Dad said. And clean up that mess, Mom said. Me? But I pointed at Sarah's, but I realized there was nothing I could say. My parents hadn't seen the train chuck across the table. Maybe I hadn't either. Maybe Sarah's had tipped the table. Really, that was the only explanation that made sense. There was no way the train could have moved by itself. Either way, it had made a big mess. Sarah helped me clean up. That night, Ruby brought me a picture book. Read to me, she said. Ruby has a wild imagination. If I read a story to her about crocodile, she will spend the next day telling me there's a crocodile hiding under the couch. So I have to keep peeking under the couch to prove to her that everything is okay. Not tonight, I told her. I've had a strange day and a lap full of food. Please, she said. I love the way you do all the voices. I looked at the title of the book, The Pied Piper. This seems very harmless. No scary creature. Okay, I said. Ruby called up next to me and I read her the story. It's about a musician that lures the rats out the towns of Hamelin by playing his flute. By the time I was finished, she was fast asleep. She was lucky, even if I hadn't had this whole day full of strange experience to think about. I was too excited to fall asleep. My best friend Moose was having a pool party tomorrow for his birthday. It was going to be at the big hotel in town, and it was going to be awesome. I hope tomorrow isn't as strange as today, I thought as I wrapped up. It turned out to be much stranger. Chapter 5, Nice to meet you. Saturday morning, Ruby marched across the living room. She was blowing into a soda straw and making flute sounds as I put my hand in my pocket and felt the coin. I thought about how both Doreen and Sarabes had suddenly gotten a whole lot stranger. Not you, too, I thought. Yes, her too. She had 5 mice at her heels. At least they aren't rats, I thought. As Ruby marched in circles around the living room, the crowd of rodents grew larger and larger. I wasn't afraid of mice, but I wasn't happy being around so many of them, especially when more and more kept coming. Ruby, I said as the mice began to form a second layer. That's enough. She didn't hear me over the squeaking. One mouse doesn't make much noise, but when you fill a room with mice, the squeak become a roar. Ruby, I shouted, that's enough. She took the straw from her lips. Enough? Yeah. The mice can't stay, I said. Why not? Ruby asked. The mice have to get to the cheese shop before it closes. It was nice to know I could think quickly when I was almost up to my ears in mice. Rectangle, okay? Okay. She opened the front door. Shoo, go away, she said. Then she went to her room. I guess all the marching had tired her out. The mice ran outside and scattered in all directions, but they had wrapped behind a terrible mouse mess. That's when Mom walked in. Ed, what happened to the floor? She asked. Ruby, the mice, unlike Dory, I had a lot fewer than 1,000 words, and none of them seemed to fit together. I sighed and said, I will get the broom. It took so long to sweep the floor clean that I was late for the party. Mom had already dropped Doreen off there. I grabbed my bathing suit and hurried out. I was half a block from home when I heard someone behind me call, Hi Ed! It was my friend Quentin 1. I had 3 friends named Quentin, so I called them Quentin 1, Quentin 2, Quentin 3. Are you going to the party? I asked. Sure, want to light? Quentin asked as he coasted past me on his bike. No thanks. The last time we tried that, we'd crashed. I will see you there, he said, giving me a wave. I was about to wave back. Then I realized that even though the Quentin was pedaling away, somehow he was still facing me. I hadn't seen him turn around. What in the world? I thought about all the strange things that had happened since I'd found the coin. Could all this strangeness be connected to it? By the time I reached the hotel, I knew what I had to do. I pulled the coin from my pocket and flipped it into the bushes. Then I went inside, hoping things would be back to normal. Chapter 6. Shaking up is hard to do. Moose is the biggest kid in our class. He's also the smartest kid I know. It always finds unusual way to solve problems. The party was nicely normal. At first, we swam, splashed, and ate snacks. After a while, Quentin 1 climbed out of the pool. He headed for the locker room. Just then, Quentin 2 came in, hopping toward the pool on his pogo stick. He looked a lot like Quentin 1. I guess he also looked like Quentin 3. I'd never noticed that before. Quentin 2 hopped over to me and said, Hey, I saw you drop this. I will bet you're glad you didn't lose it. He started hopping and held out the coin. Thanks, I was afraid to take it. But I was more afraid not to take it. I put it in the pocket of my bathing suit. Moose and I sat by the side of the pool, drinking cherry cola. Most of the kids had brought blow-up wraps and float tubes. They were bobbing on the wall like a bunch of Hawaiian apples. I wish we had wraps, I told Moose. It would be nice, he said. It's your birthday, I said. I'm sure someone would let you borrow a wrap. But then they wouldn't have one, Moose said. There has to be a better answer. Just then Darwin walked past us, draining the rest of his soda. He read out a loud word. I got it! What a great idea! Moose ripped up and grabbed Darwin. Drink this, he said, handing his soda to my brother. Darwin slugged the soda right down. Gurg, gurg, gurg. Give him yours, Moose said. I'm still thirsty, I said. Just give it to him, Moose told me. Quick, before he burped again. Yep, Doreen said. Just give it to me. I handed over my soda. I didn't know what the rush was, but I really couldn't turn Moose down. On his birthday, Doreen gulped my soda so fast it was like singing bad water vanished down the drain of a tube. Moose clamped a hand over Doreen's mouth. Then he grabbed the bag of his bathing suit. He ripped him up and started shaking him like he was one of those cool rattly things they used to make music in Mexican bands, maracas. That's it. Shake, shake, shake. Whatever you do, keep your mouth closed, Moose said, as he gave Doreen a final shake. Doreen's mouth was shut tight. He started to swallow with gas. He held his breath as Moose tossed him in the pool. Then Moose jumped onto Doreen. My brother bobbed a bit, but he had enough gas in his stomach to keep floating. It worked great, until Doreen burped, that is. The moment he opened his mouth, he shot out from under Moose like a flyaway balloon. He made it halfway across the bottom of the pool before he ran out of gas. Are you alright? I asked when Doreen popped to the surface. Sure, that was fun, he said as he climbed out of the pool. Let's do it again. Moose tapped me on the shoulder. Your turn to float, he said, but I couldn't stay. Can you walk Doreen home? I asked Moose. Sure, he said. I left the hotel. I need to find out why everything became so strange the moment I found the coin, and I knew the perfect place to get some answer. Chapter 3, Curious Answers. Can I help you? Mr. Sage asked when I walked into the new curiosity shop. I hope so. I pulled a coin from my pocket and handed it to him. Can you tell me anything about this? The Silver Center? I've heard stories about this coin, but I never believed the coin was real, he said. Oh dear, was it this faded when you found it? He held the coin up for me to see. No, I said. It looked brand new. The face of the coin reminded me of the really worn buffalo nickel and my uncle gave me last year. I needed a fading coin. To my list of strange experiences, there isn't much time, he said. You need to give this coin to the stranger. I'm not allowed to talk to stranger, I said. Not that kind of stranger, Mr. Sage said. This is a special meaning of stranger. If you don't give this to the stranger before the words fade away, the world will lose all its strangeness. That doesn't sound like a bad thing, I said. If there was no strangeness, I would be more like everyone else. I like that idea. It would be terrible, he said. Think of all the great people who seem strange. Remember the brilliant scientist Albert Einstein and the amazing artist Pablo Picasso? They were both quite strange. Our greatest artworks and inventions happened because someone had a strange idea or saw a strange sight. Without strangeness, the world would be terribly dull. But things are really strange right now, I said. Too strange. They should start to settle down once you give the stranger the coin, Mr. Sage said. Maybe you should find this stranger, I said. He handed the coin back to me. No, you found the coin. Oh, the coin found you. Either way, the job is yours, but I still don't know what to do, I said. Let your experience guide you, Mr. Sage said. A task this important would never fall into the hands of someone who couldn't handle it. I hope you're right, I said. I had it out. This is awful. I had a run at things, and I sure didn't agree with him that strangeness was important. On top of that, he'd given me a job I didn't know how to do. Wait, I didn't need to know who I was working for. If I gave the coin to every person I met, one of them would have to be The stranger, Mr. Sage didn't say I only get one chance. As soon as I got home, I handed a coin to Doreen. Can you hold on to this for me? Sure, he said. Hey, Moose said we should go over and see all his presents. We? I asked. Of course. You know everything's more fun when I'm around, Doreen said. I guess you can come. He could be a pest at times, but he was kind of fun. We headed toward Moose's house. We were almost there when Doreen screamed, Ouch! It's hot. He pointed at his pocket. Help! Take it back. Chapter 8, Needle Ripped. I pulled a coin from Doreen's pocket. I felt cold. Was that a trick coin? He asked. I'm afraid so, I said, as I put it back in my pocket. When we got to Moose's house, his older brother Moose answered the door. Everyone calls him Mouse because he's nowhere near as big as Moose. Mouse doesn't come up with wild ideas like Moose, but he's stronger than Moose and he loves to talk. There was a huge package on Moose's front porch. Moose, Mouse called it. You got something. Moose came to the porch. Oop! He said as he ripped the package. Doreen looked at Moose and said, I wish I was as strong as you. What about me? Mouse said. I'm stronger than Mouse. I can lift anything. He grabbed Moose by the legs and ripped both him and the package straight up. I will bet you can lift yourself, I said. Sure I can, Mouse said. He put his brother down, squat, and jammed his hands behind his knees. Stop, I said. I was joking. Ooh, Mouse grunted as he ripped. Wow, there was a but. Or I could say as I watched Mouse rip himself up in the air. Let go, I told him. I can't, Mouse said. If I let go, I will fall and get hurt. He was 5 feet up and still rising. Mouse rushed under his brother and held out his arm. Just let go, he said. We'll catch you. Mouse shook his head. I ripped up, tried to grab Mouse's feet, but he was too high. I know, Doreen said. He ran to the garage and came back with a piece of rope. Catch! He called it to Mouse as he threw one end of the loop up in the air. Mouse caught the rope with his teeth. Doreen, holding on the other end, started to rise. Mouse was now lifting both of them into the air. Help me! Doreen shouted. Moose and I grabbed the loop right about Doreen's hand and started pulling. It was really better. But between us, we managed to get Doreen all the way down and Mouse close to the ground. Thanks, Mouse said. This was one time when good manners were a bad idea. When Mouse spoke, the rope fell out of his mouth. I guess that started him, because he ripped himself even harder and shot right back up. Doreen threw him the rope again, and Mouse chopped his teeth on it just like he did it before. We all pulled when Mouse was almost down. I warned him. Don't say anything this time, I won't, he said. Out came the rope. Up went Mouse. We tried again. This time I looked at Mouse, and Mouse looked at Doreen, and Doreen looked at me. Then we all looked up at Mouse and shouted, Don't open your mouth, Mouse! That worked. We got him back down. Once his feet were on the ground, he finally stopped lifting. Mouse wasn't as smart as Moose, but he did learn things sooner or later. Moose opened the heavy package. It was a set of bubbles. I didn't stay long. I had too much to think about. As I walked home, I tossed the coin. I still didn't know who to give it to. And I didn't like the idea that Mouse and Darwin could have gotten hurt today. Strangeness could be dangerous. I checked the coin again right before bed. The words were almost totally faded. If I wanted to let the world lose all its strangeness, I would have long to wait. But if I was going to find the stranger, I had to do it soon. Chapter 9 Dig Dog. A strange sound woke me Sunday morning. I looked across at my 5 goldfish. Each one swam to the bottom, pick up a piece of gravel in its mouth, and spat it out hard at the glass side of the bowl. Ping, 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 ping. It looked like they were trying to break free. When I have a tough problem to solve, I like to sit under the old apple tree in the backyard and think. So I headed out back. Rex and Willow were there. I watched Rex dig a hole. When he was finished, he used the teeth to grab Willow by the scruff of the neck. I expected her to hiss and scratch, but she purred so loudly I could hear her from halfway across the yard. Rex dropped Willow in the hole. "What are you doing?" I asked. He ignored me, turned around, and kicked the dirt back in. "Stop that!" Rex sat at the edge of the hole. He was panting with the dog expression that looks kind of like a smile and also kind of like he was a stomachache. I rushed over to rescue Willow, but Rex began to dig again. A moment later, Willow leaped out of the hole and started to lick herself clean. "Great, Muscat, scat, hellballs, my cat is going to cause up mud balls." Rex walked to the different part of the yard and started to dig another hole. Willow followed him, so did I. I couldn't stand all the strangeness. I had to do something. Anyone who's ever been on a merry-go-round knows how slowly it turns when you stand at the center. The farther out you go, the faster things spin. My brother, my sisters, my pets, and my friends were standing far from the center, way out in the Looniverse. They'd always been strange, but now it was like they were clinging to the very edge, with their feet flying in the air. I was in the center, the only normal person of us all. After Rex finished digging, I waited until he picked up Willow. Then I tossed the coin into the hole. Rex instantly dropped the Willow. "Good boy," I said. Rex started to fill the hole. I went to check my fish. They were swimming around like normal. Burying the coins seemed to have worked, just to be safe. I went back to make sure the coin was still buried. When I got there, I found Sarah Bass, Dorian, Ribby, Pontiwan, Moose, and Mouse all there. They started talking the instant they saw me. Now, I really felt left out. "What's going on?" I asked. "We want to talk to you," Sarah Bass said. "Right now," Moose added. I felt a ripple in my stomach. I'd never seen them look so serious. Chapter 10 Strange Truth. "What do you want to talk about?" I asked. They stood there looking at one another, and at the ground, and at the crowds, but not at me. What could be so terrible that they were afraid to tell me? I wondered. Finally, Rowan stood on his tiptoe and whispered something to Moose. Then Moose stepped forward. "Well," he said, "we wish we'd try to be a little less strange." "Me?" I asked. I could have been more surprised if he had told me there was a kangaroo on my head. "You," Moose said. "What are you guys talking about?" I asked. "There's nothing strange about me. Right now, I'm the only normal person around here." "No way," Moose said. "Strange stuff happens when you're around." It sure does, Ruby said. After you read that story to me, all those mice showed up. Mouse nodded. I got stuck in the air when you came over. I got the strangest twisty feeling when I rode my bike past you. Quentin once said. You're the one who told me about the 1,000 words, Doreen said. My hands still hurt. I only have trouble with my food when you are at dinner, Sarah Beth said. Things have always been a little strange around you, Moose said. But they seem to be getting even stranger lately. Definitely stranger, Sarah Beth said. Stranger for sure, Doreen said. I felt like I'd been punched in the stomach. How could they blame me for the way they had been acting? This isn't fair, I said, and I don't like the way you're gangling up on me. Look, Doreen said, all we're asking is you try to be a little more normal. Think about it, Moose said. I watched, shocked and hurt, as all the two-legged creature left the backyard. I went up to my room alone and thought about everything. If I did nothing and let the coin fade without giving it to the stranger, I would remove all strangeness from the world. Was that what I wanted? I thought about how both Doreen and Moose had shouted. What a great idea! I thought about all the wonderful paintings, movies, and books and must have started out as a strange idea. Did I want a world without any strangeness? No. I ran out back, grabbed a shovel, and dug up the coin. When I saw it, my heart sank. The face was smooth and blank. I looked closer, but I could barely make out the R in the stranger. I needed to give the coin to the stranger immediately, but I still don't know who it is. Think. I told myself. I remembered Mr. Sage's word. Let your experience guide you. I thought about my experience since I'd found the coin. Doreen made a scene become real. Sarah's train moved. Ruby's mice showed up. Moose got a swell idea. Mouse lifted himself. My pet acted weird. Then everyone blamed me for their strangeness. Their words echoed through my mind. Getting even stranger lately. Definitely stranger. Stranger for sure. It all fell together. I finally knew who the stranger was. Chapter 11. Normally strange? I thought about Doreen's pencil. A sharpener makes things sharper. The sweetener makes things sweeter. The stranger makes things stranger. Could it be? I whispered. Am I the stranger? But if I was the stranger, why were the words fading? I realized there was one more thing I had to do. You're mine. I whispered to the coin. The silver coin glowed like the moon. The words rose up, solid and bold. I watched the sky as the moon rose and fell. This time I knew it was my imagination, and I knew the strangeness was no longer in danger of fading away. I smiled, knowing I'd made the right decision. The sad part was that my friends and family wouldn't want me around anymore. I wasn't sure I'd be able to get used to that. Far off, I heard an ice cream truck. Maybe a strawberry ice pop would cheer me up. I went around the front yard. Doreen, Moose, and the others were standing there, waiting for me. Quentin 1 was gone. Quentin 3 was there, on his skateboard. We are sorry about that, what we said, Sarah Beth told me. It's pretty boring when you are not around, Moose said. Very boring, Doreen agreed. Nothing fun happens. So you want me around again? I asked. Absolutely, they all said. That's great, I said. The music of the ice cream truck moved closer. Buy me an ice cream, Libby said. Money doesn't grow on the trees. I told her. Maybe it grows under them, Darwin said. Let's see. Mouse ripped it up on oak tree and looked under it. Hey, I found the dollar bill, said Darwin. I felt a small tingle of excitement. My words had caused the strangeness. Could I run to control my strange new power? The wind scooped up the dollar and held it out. The ice cream truck drove past us, the driver handed Darwin a cone. He took the dollar without even stopping. Your cone looks like a lucky ship, Sarabeth said. She grabbed the ice cream cone from Darwin and turned it upside down. It shot up into the air. I felt another tingle. I guess I'd have make her imagination do strange things. I'll get it, Mouse said. He took off, running so fast his feet didn't touch the ground. Content 3 crashed after him. The wheels fell off his skateboard, but he kept on going. Read me a story? Libby asked. Sure, I told her. Go pick a good one. No mice this time, and no snakes or giant spiders either, okay? Okay. She ran toward the house. Halfway there, she stopped it and asked, Dragons? Only if they're small and friendly. I called it back. I spotted Mr. Sage across the street. I held up the coin in the one hand and then pointed at myself with the other. Mr. Sage nodded and smiled. Then he walked off, but I was sure I'd been singing him again. I am the stranger, I whispered to myself. I liked the way that sounded. I thought about how I'd have to give the coin to myself. I guess it made sense that the stranger would have a strange start. It felt good to be standing in the center of my very own universe, with strange and amazing adventures ahead of me.